Hi guys, and welcome along to this craft along with me. Today we're going to look at these glorious ties. Tags, should I say? I'm doing a boho journal. Well, that's how it started anyway. A boho journal. It's kind of turning into a gypsy Indian. I don't know what it is, but it's really colourful and bright. And here are some of the tags that I've already made. And I'm going to show you how to make these today, or one similar. There's not really much point in doing any more turquoisey ones or pink, because I've actually made some more of this pink. But I thought today we might concentrate on the purple, and I'll show you step by step. And there's loads of steps into how we get here. But I mean, these are just so lovely. Look at the lovely bits on them that glisten and gleam. This is my favourite, obviously, because I love turquoise. Right, so let's get started. Okay, so I'm going to stick various bits of paper, card, whatever you've got hanging around that is vaguely the colour that you want. It doesn't have to be a specific colour. It can be anything. Just a complete melange. A complete melange of different colours. I'm using Fusion Decoupage and Transfer Gel because that's what I've got. You can use Mod Podge. You can use, probably best of all, matte medium. Whatever you've got, whatever comes to hand. And I'm going to be using up these papers, which I bought from AliExpress, and I really didn't like them. They weren't what I thought they were going to be. So I'm just going to be tearing various bits out of these and sticking them on. I'm probably also going to be using some old newspaper because when it dries really yellow, and I like it a lot. So let's get cracking. Let's choose something to put in that top corner. So I like to tear my edges. Of course, you don't have to. You can cut them to a specific size and shape if you want. This is really a kind of anything goes, and it really does. Anything does go. So I'm just, because I've got square corners on that, I'm just going to push that right up to the top. I don't think my board's particularly square, but it really doesn't matter. Stick it down around there. And another bit. See, this one now, it's torn out, it's quite turquoisey, which is fine. Just going to overlap that a little bit. I mean, it wouldn't be the end of the world if I didn't overlap it, because I'd have this bright pink coming through. I'm just going to put a bit of newspaper on there now. This is old newspaper that I found when I was cultivating a chest of drawers, and it was actually stuck underneath one of the drawers. Couldn't have been 500 quid, could it? Something like that. Oh no. But if you do junk journals, this is kind of about as valuable because it's great stuff. This is from 1981, and actually by the feel of it, you'd think it was from the 50s. It's really sort of dried up, gone yellow. It's great for junk journaling. Perfect stuff. Let's put that there. This has a habit of sort of giving, so I'm going to put this on as if I was decoupaging a napkin on. Otherwise you get wrinkles. And that's it. I mean, you just carry on until you've got your page covered to your liking. So there's not much. You don't have to be terribly skillful to manage this part. or any of it, to be honest. It's all nice to do. As I say, if you don't want this many tags, just use use half this size or a fraction of the size. I don't really want to cover that paper up. Square edge there, so I'll use that along the side. So by the time you've finished, pretty much the whole thing has had a coating of gel. Not that that's important, but I guess it does lend it some support. I'm just going to put this bit down this side here. You might find when it dries you've got some bits that haven't been stuck down properly. That's fine. Just go back over them with a bit more gel and stick them down. Oh, I don't like it when it tears that way. If you find that you've got all your papers going the same way and they look about the same size, turn your paper around. Start again from the other side. That will go there nicely. That's it. Just to encourage it. What else have I got? Oh, I've got a nice bit of yellow there. I'll put that there, then I'll put something else down, that very thin strip at the side. Yellow and purple go very well together, the complement of each other, so they always look nice when you put them on together. I would describe this stuff that I'm putting on as thick paper. I don't know that it's card particularly. It's just thick paper. I'm just going to put that there, I think. So I just need a little bit for in there, which I think newspaper might come to my aid. Quite a lot of glue on there already. You don't have, you're not going to be reading this newspaper, so it doesn't have to be straight, just any direction at all. Mix it up. Right, I'm going to put this other bit down here, I think. Tear that, well, I'll stick something over it. I was going to say I'll tear this white edge off. So that can go right in the corner because it's got two square edges. I don't like square edges anywhere else on the sheet. It always catches the eye, I think, if it's, really square edge. And we want this just to be kind of the background. The first layer. Got a nice green here. Bit of newspaper again, I think. Oh, what sort of size do you want it? That's going to meet up with this, but I'm absolutely not concerned about that. So as I say, I'm going to do this as if I would put a napkin on, sort of from the centre out, because it's quite fragile, this, and it wrinkles if you're not careful. There's a hole there in the paper, but you know, it's, as they say, no biggie because I've got pink behind it. However, here there is a hole, and I don't like it because it's white. So I'm just going to stick a little bit on there. So we're nearly done. This is just this bottom section to do now. What colour shall I aim for now? I've got quite a lot of purple. Still got a bit of this pinkiness left. It's all a pretty similar pattern, this, but by the time we've finished doing our stuff on it, you won't make it out into anything distinct. Let's turn it. So we'll put that there. I might have to put a little bit along the bottom, but that'll be fine. Bit of newspaper. Come to our aid again. Along there. I love old newspapers. I really do. I love seeing what was going on, and actually this is a newspaper from the sort of nearest local town, I would say. And so it's talking about shops that I remember that have long since closed down. So it's quite interesting, really, for me, at any rate. So just one more piece in here. How about this piece? These are called various things, baseboards, masterboards. Yeah, that's going to be all right, I think, in there. But basically, they're a big collage that goes over a piece of card or paper. So whatever you hear them called in future, you'll know what people are on about. Right, so that's that. I'll leave it till it dries. And then I'll come back and join you then when it's dry. Right, okay, so this is now nicely dried. I just left it alone to dry, and you'll notice that it curls up, but don't worry about that. That's nothing to concern yourself with. So the next stage is stenciling and stamping. So I think it probably makes more sense to stamp first. And I'm actually going to stamp with black stays on. It's pretty dark, and I know that puts a lot of people off, but I do quite like it, and it really has. It's got to be quite dark in order for us to see it. Just unearth my stamp. So this is a text one. This is a sort of part of a mandala one, which is quite Indian. And that's all I've got to hand, but that's all I need, to be honest. So this mandala one has a habit of not all coming out, so I'm just gonna hope for the best. What comes out is what comes out. It doesn't have to be perfect. That's fine. There's still a bit of tackiness on that paper there. Didn't want to let go. So you don't have to put this everywhere, or you can put it down the centre. I mean, it, you know, wherever. Yeah, it does have a problem, this stamp, actually. That's quite nice. You need supreme strength to push it down, and then it works, I think, is the trick with it. Okay, let's move on to something else. See if we can get this text stamp to work. I've never been the world's greatest stamper. I think there must be some secret to it that I just don't have. Oh, stamping and me, we don't go together, I don't think. Oh, little bits of text coming out, that's good. Lovely. Let's turn it around a bit, otherwise we're going to have all the text going in one direction. In all likelihood, you're not going to see this when it's finished, but it is just another texture that we're adding to the whole thing. It's interest, we're adding interest all the time. Right, okay, so let's move on to stenciling, which I generally have more luck with. You know, if you are the stamping queen or king, then carry on, stamp as much as you want. You can't overdo it. It'll be fine. Right, so let's move on, as I say, to stenciling. Now I have got quite a few stencils, sort of background stencils. The hearts, they're a definite thing, but I have used them in these actually. You know, you can't really see them. Everything gets swept up, as it were. That's quite a nice. That's a nice one. In fact, I mean, they're all nice. A little circular one I quite like. What else have I got? Flowers. Maybe. Why not? Music. No, I'm not feeling music today. Little spaghetti thing. Other circles. Yeah. No, we'll go with those ones, I think. See how we get on. Okay, so seeing as I want this to be a sort of lilac-y purple, well, purple really colour, I've looked at some paints. Now you can use just acrylics, plain straightforward acrylics, but when I was in the drawer looking for stuff, I came across these, and Jacquard Lumiere paints. They're actually fabric paints, I think I'm right in saying, but they're pearlescent, and I've had them for years, literally years, and never used them, so I thought I'd give them a bit of a try today. See how we get on with those. So let's try that one first. I'll go with turquoise because there's no turquoise up there, so we should get a fair impression of whether it's actually going to work or not. It's quite runny. Runny and stenciling don't usually go together. I'm just going to use one of these daubers, the cheap, cheerful and do the job. So let's see if this works or not. Let's just have a peek and see if it's working. Oh yes, that's nice actually. It's quite sort of faint, which is fine. I like it. Not sort of in your face. And it doesn't matter if you do the whole stencil, because you're going to be chopping up this baseboard into various different things for your junk journal. You know, you might want pockets, you might want tags, you might want journaling cards. This stuff is great for making pockets out of because it's quite firm. So it might be quite nice to have a stencil that goes along the length of your pocket. Whatever you feel, really, you know, there isn't a right way, there isn't a wrong way. It's just kind of whatever you feel. And, you know, you can do, this is my third baseboard now in a row, and they're all very different. So let's see. Oh, that's really pretty. I think you can see the glisten on it there. It's really kind of metallic. I love that, in fact. I love it. I really do. Let's put one up there. This is not like me to be so organised. I usually just put parts of a stencil on so you can't read actually what it is. But I like this stencil. I think it'll go well with our boho. I'm soon going to get through this paint, aren't I? You can only use it once. That's what my dad used to say if I asked for something, and you know, say it's expensive or whatever. You can only spend it once, he used to say, which is true. Well, up here in the very north of England, we're experiencing the delights of Storm Dennis. Who gives these people these names, I do not know. And why, all of a sudden, after all these years, do storms have to have names? I don't understand it. We've had storms forever. We've never had names. I mean, I can understand in the States if you've got a blinking hurricane or something, then yeah, it might be worthy of a name. But we have sort of rain and wind and they call it storm whatever. However, that's my gripe for the day. Right, let's have a look. Oh, that's just so pretty. You can see the glisten on it, but actually in real life it is this lovely turquoise colour, which is really, really, really nice. I might go for this flowery one now, Flushed with Success. I don't really want it square, so I'll just put it off centre, off straight. I mean, you could use 2 or 3 colours going through these flowers if you've got flower stencils. Do the outside in one colour and, you know, get as tricksy as you like, really. Personally, I think for the baseboards, you don't really have to do all that. Because after we've done all this, there's more, you know, after we cut it up, then we really begin to decorate them. So this is just, as it says, a baseboard. I'm nearly out of paint again, blimey. I think if you were stenciling on furniture or a sign or something, you might not want to use one of these daubers. It's not the most exact thing in the world, but oh, look at that. It's so lovely. I'm delighted with how those have turned out. Right, so let's move on to the pink. These are just the nicest ever. I'm glad I filmed this one. It's actually working. I don't want you to get the impression that things I do don't work. but it's true. I do have the odd little mistake. Right, so let's just use some of this pink. I think we all have odd little mistakes, don't we? You know, it's kind of what crafting's about, really. It's a bit of trial and error. Just going to run this one over the edge. And up here as well. Kind of like it when things go over the edge. Lovely. So after we've done this, we're going to add some modelling wax. The stuff that I've got is actually quite thick. It's PBO ultra thick or something, and it, you know, it is thick stuff. Doesn't have to be that at all. You could use any brand tall modelling paste is fine. Same with these paints that I'm using here. I mean, these are lovely, these Jacquard ones. But I wouldn't recommend you go out and buy them. There's just no need. Use ordinary acrylics, will be fine. That's what I've used on my other baseboards. Oh, I didn't realise that was meeting up there. Oh well, never mind. Probably finished with that, I think. Now I think I've got sufficient. Just going to use this little circle one, and I'm going to use my purple. I don't know if you need to shake them or not. Oh, that's got gold in it. That is, I can see the gold bits from here. It's gorgeous. Right, so let's do some filling in of bits that don't have much in them. I'm not washing my dauber out between colours. If the mix on the dauber, well, you know, the mix on the dauber really. So I want to try and get some sort of half bits in here and there, so it doesn't have a straight sort of ending. It's beginning to look really interesting now, isn't it? I think. This top corner here doesn't have much in it. I feel like cutting up that plate that I've been doing the paint on, because it's just so nice. Can you see the colours glistening? Gorgeous. Over here, I'd say. One side down. Where else can I put this? Maybe over there. Don't really want to go over the turquoise, but I can still get some in down the side there, I think. Yeah. Okay. That's just kind of finished with those stencils with the paint. Just drop my dauber. Oh, I've got glistening fingers. Drop the dauber into water because it is acrylic paint and it will dry out. And then you'll have wrecked your dauber because it won't pick paint up anymore. Can't cut this off my fingers. I'm going to have sparkly fingers forever. Right then, so time to move on to the texture paste. Now, my texture paste is white, same as everybody's texture paste is white, but I wanted to colour it. So what I've done is I've put some ink, some ordinary sort of drawing ink, into the texture paste and mixed it around. So I've got this bubblegum pink colour. Not sure I'm absolutely mad keen on it, to be honest. But it's, it's something different. So you just apply the texture paste. You can apply it with a credit card, anything that's got a straight edge on it, really. I'm just using a palette knife, but you don't have to. There, and that just gives, when it dries, actually the picture isn't showing up that colour in all its glory. It is pink. It really is pink. Kind of bubblegum pink. So after we've done this, you need to leave it to dry. It's not a particularly good idea to dry modelling paste with a hairdryer. It sort of goes flat and you lose some of the texture, which is, after all, what we're doing. So I'm just going to use this same stencil throughout. I like this stencil. It's always been one of my favourites. It's just a plain, straightforward background stencil. And you can vary the thickness. I'm scraping this off level with the stencil. You can actually leave it thicker if you want more depth in your texture. Bit down here, I think. It's a good idea to keep moving your board around because you see things that you didn't see the last time. If it's always looking one direction at you, you'll miss things. I think we need one up there, maybe just in this corner down here. I've mixed up so much texture paste. I could literally, as Mr. Fix-It just said, plaster a wall. He might have said some rude words in there as well, but it's quite right. Yeah, I could plaster a wall. But I like the idea of colouring it. I think that's quite a good tip. Try and colour it a bit. I've just used, I used red actually, and it came out this colour. But inks do the job. That's fine there. Lovely. Right, that's us. Oh, look at that. Does anybody want that? I think that's sufficient, and I think that's our baseboard pretty much done. Yeah, look at that. You can see the pink there now. But look at all that lovely sheen from the jacquard paints. They're beautiful. Right, so I'm going to leave that to dry. Leave it alone. Don't come up and go, oh, it's still wet. You'll have a good look at it and see, rather than smush it with your finger to find out if it's dry or not. And I will join you again when this is dry, and we'll see where we go from there. Okay. Right, okay, so we've dried off the modelling paste. I just wanted to show you actually the modelling paste that I'm using. It's PBO Artist Acrylics modelling paste, Haute Densité, which is heavy modelling paste, and it really is. It's thick stuff. Let me just put that down that way because it's heavy as well as being thick. Now, the last thing that we're going to put on the baseboard while it's still intact is a thing called Krylon webbing, actually. I think it might come in more colours than this, but this is what I've got. I've got white, silver and black. And when you spray it, you'll see in a minute, it forms a sort of spider's web type effect, which is really, you need to see it. I can't explain it, you need to see it. But what I can tell you is if you live in the UK, it is hideously expensive. You can buy it on eBay and it's about £12, something like that. But it has to come from America and the postage is £11 odd. So it makes it very expensive. It does last a long, long time. But if you're watching this and you're in the States, lucky you is all I can say, because sitting in front of me here is £75 worth, which, is a lot for crafts. So the decision now is which colour I'm going to use. I quite like the idea of silver, but I don't know how well that'll show up. I might just go for black. Or should I go for white? I don't know. What colour shall I use? I might go for a light dusting of black. A light dusting of black, and if that's not enough, I'll give it a light dusting of white. So this stuff goes everywhere when you spray it, really does. So I need a little spray booth, an impromptu spray booth. So Mr. Fix-It has provided me with one. How clever is Mr. Fix-It? He's brilliant, isn't he? Everybody needs a Mr. Fix-It. So this needs, I'll give that to Mr. Fix-It, give it a good shake. And then I'll give it a, well actually I might get Mr. Fix-It to give it a spray. I'll just protect myself because it does go pretty much everywhere. So a light dusting, Mr. Fix-It, light dusting. Let me turn it around. Yeah, another light dusting, I would say. Right, stop there then. You see what I mean about this sort of, it's wonderful stuff, I love it. Let's have a little go with the white on top of that as well. Oh yeah, that's nice. Let's turn it around. Yeah, that's lovely. I think that's fine. It's just knocked it all back a bit and given it that sort of interesting aged look. It's great, isn't it? I really love this stuff. I really do. I just so wish it wasn't so expensive. Anyway, that's that. I'll just give that a couple of minutes to dry and then I shall join you again when we're going to chop it up. Okay, so the Krylon is now dry and I hope you can see. I don't think the camera's picking up the, oh, it's picking up the white. It just gives it this sort of interest that you couldn't do with a pen or ink or paintbrush or anything. It's one of my favourite things, and yet it's so expensive. So what we need to do now is trim off the edges that are sticking out over the edge of the card. And then we'll chop it up and see where we're at. The thing is, you kind of have to work out in advance what it is you're going to be using this for. Are you going to make just tags, or are you going to make some pockets? Or I think what I will do is use just half of it to make tags and journal cards, and I'll leave the other half in case I want it for pockets or tuck spot, even something like that I haven't thought of at the moment. Right, so that's that fairly square. So I'm just going to literally chop it in half on my paper trimmer. I think these measure approximately 12 inches, but once again, it doesn't matter. You know, you could, I'm going to chop this at 6 inches, but you could chop it at 4 and have 3 lots of 4. Depending on the size you've done, you just have to work out yourself what sort of size you want. Right, I'm going to work on this piece because I just love this turquoise. Mind you, I mean, this piece has got turquoise as well, but I love this one, so that's the one I'm going to use today. And I'm going to chop it up into 3-inch pieces. Let's go for that to start with. They make a nice sized tag. This is the size of my junk journal that they'll be going into, so that's a nice size tag for that. It actually really goes well, doesn't it? Oh my goodness, more good luck than good guidance. So just keep putting this through, chopping 3 inches off until you might get to some odd number that doesn't look right. They're probably all right there with 3 inches. Yeah. I'm left with one that's marginally over 3 inches. I mean, nothing, so that's fine. I've just got a bit of a tag sticking up here, so I'm just going to pop it down with a glue stick. It's going to annoy me otherwise. It's just a bit we must have missed. I must have missed when I was doing the sticking the papers down in the first instance. Right, so let's have a look at what we've got then. Oh, there's a corner there as well. Dear, oh dear. This happens, you know. Don't worry. It just happens. A bit overzealous with my glue in there. Right. So what have we got then? Well, considering we were going for lilac, we're all right. I think we're pretty. Got a pretty purple theme going on. This one's very pretty. Well, actually, they're all very pretty. That one just needs to go that way because that's the way the stencil's going and I can see it. So this one, I don't know, does it have an up? I'll put it that way. I think that looks more upsy than downsy. Right, so we've got to look at all this modelling paste. I shouldn't be allowed to have a nice desk. I really shouldn't, because I just wreck everything. I mean, if you could see what's off camera, it's horrendous. Right, so I've got this card, which is an old credit card, and I made a template for the corners of my tags because I was always getting them wrong, uneven, and they were really annoying me. So this is a template and it works perfectly. Just square it up, fold it over for the other side, and then you can't get it wrong, not even me. So that's one. I'm going to do 2 tags and 2 journaling cards. And the difference really is that the tags have got corners on and a thread coming out the top, and journaling cards don't. So if you've got an old store card or whatever, I do advise you to do this because it takes the headache out of guessing where your corners are. So there we are. Right, so the next thing is I want to colour around the edges. And I'm just going to get a wet wipe to the ready. And these are Jane Davenport's colour sticks. You can buy Tim Holtz Distress crayons. They are the same. As far as I can see, they're exactly the same. And there's also Faber-Castell do gelatos, which are the same again. So just different companies do, you know, call them different things. Right, seeing as I want this to be purple, pretty much purple, I'm going to use the purple colour stick and see what it looks like, see if it's okay. In fact, I might start on this one because it does have a lot of purple on it already. So just, you don't need to use too much of this product, just a little bit around the edge. And that's why I wanted to snip the corners first, because I need to come around the edge of the corners. We'll see if that's enough. I like to spread mine out using a wet wipe because it sort of makes it thinner. If you do it with water, it's you have a thick bit where the stuff is, and then none. Whereas this sort of spreads it out a bit more, I think. Look at that, you can still see that metallic through there, that's lovely. Okay, that looks pretty, I think. I'm just going to just take some off the top of the modelling paste so we can see a little bit more of that. There we are. Yeah, I like that, that's nice. If you think you've got too much on, just go around it again. I'm just spreading this out actually rather more than trying to lift something. So yeah, there, I mean, that's really nice, pleased with that. Let's do the other tag. Well, it's got this glorious turquoise colour in it, and I don't know whether to do turquoise or not. Shall I? Where's the other ones that I did before? What colour did I use on that? I used that dark one. I might use that again, because I do love it. Turquoise is definitely my favourite colour ever. This colour is called Limpid Pool. Oh my goodness. It's a pretty extravagant name for a colour. This does kind of set the trend for how your finished product's going to look. So, you know, give it a thought what colour you're going to use, because it's important that you get it right. That looks lovely. This is a really nice way of doing tags. That is such a pretty tag. Right, so we're now into journaling cards, and I don't think I can get away with using that turquoise limpid pool anymore. I think I might use bright pink on this one because I've got quite a lot of that modelling paste. I mean, you know, as I said to you when we're doing the modelling paste, you can make it any colour you want. If you've got the ink, add it to your modelling paste, and because ink is so highly saturated with pigment, you don't need to add loads. Therefore, you're not messing with the structure of the modelling paste. It will still set as you want it to. So find a clean bit of this. So you see now that all the placing of, you know, agonising over placing of this, that and the other doesn't really matter because, to be honest, you can't see a lot of it. But if it wasn't there, it would make a heck of a difference. We need it there. We need all the texture and background stuff. Wow. This is just such a nice thing to do. I might make this one purple again, actually. It's got quite a bit of purple in it. So let's go for that. Like I say, these are journaling cards because they haven't had the corners whacked off, and they're not going to have a tag at the top. So they come under the name journaling tags. They're all pretty much of a muchness. You can use water and a brush to do this. You definitely can, but I don't like the effect as much as when I use a wet wipe. picks quite a bit of the colour up, which I quite like. So there we are then. Let's have a look, see what we've got. Let's have a little clean of this desk first. That's not bad for me. Right, let's have a look and see what we've got. Oh my, oh my. There we are. How pretty are they? I think they're lovely. I think we've done a cracking job there, guys. You can see them? They've all got part of them that is very, very glittery. And I think it's due, in fact, I know it's due to these little paints that I've got. They came in a kit. They're called Lumiere by Jacquard. And it says light body metallic acrylic. Yeah, and they're suitable for fabric as well, because it's telling you how to set it on fabric. So I think I bought them as fabric paints, but I mean they're acrylic paint with just a fabric medium added, so you can use them as you wish on paper. How lovely are these? Well, we've hit the jackpot with these, I'm pretty sure of it. Right, so the next thing to do is to add even more sparkle to them. Let me just put Jane's colour sticks away. And we're going to do that by using leaf. I've got leaf and foils in loads of different colours, but for the purposes of this, I think I'll use foils because it's a bit cleaner. The leaf just gets everywhere and you end up looking like a gold person. But either way, whether you're using foils or leaf, you need a size to put down first, and you can buy it in a bottle, great big polyvine bottle, which I have, and you just brush it on with your brush. Or for finer work, like we're about to do now, you can get these pens, and they're called foil art, and the foil that goes on them is called foil art, but any foil will stick to them. They are just a size. A size is a special sort of glue that you use with, metal, leaf or foil. So let's hope this is going to work. It says to hold it down for a couple of seconds. Yeah, looks like it's going to work. And when it comes out, it's clear, but it dries. No, it's white when it comes out, and then when it dries, it's clear. So I'm just going to do sort of quite scribbly nothing. I'm not trying to get it to look like anything at all. I just want a nice bit of sheen up there, that's all. So we have to leave that to dry, and when it's dry you can easily tell because, as I say, it goes clear, and it goes very, very sticky. At the minute it's not sticky at all, it's just a liquid, but when it dries and it goes clear, it's sticky. It's the stickiest thing in the world. So you can tell both ways when it's ready to accept the foil, because you won't be able to see it unless you tilt it over to one side, and it'll feel very sticky. So try not to make a distinct pattern, just a bit of something. Just add another little bit down here. Right, that's fine. That'll be absolutely plenty. No point. I mean, we are going really for overkill anyway, because we've got lots of shine and sheen, and now we're going for all out shininess. but you don't need masses. Says she. And all we can do now is wait for that to go off, and it'll be 10 to 15 minutes in a warm room like this. So keep your eye on it. Once it's stopped being white, it's ready to go. So I'll see you then. Right, so here we are. The size has dried and it's gone perfectly clear. And I know it's sticky, so I'm not going to prove it to you by sticking my fingers in it. I've got my foils out, and I've got lots of colours. I'm thinking that that turquoise one would go nicely on there, and the pink one probably on there. I don't know about the purple. That might be a bit too pink. I could put this very gaudy gold on. Might do that actually. I just need to find out how you get into that. I'll give that to Mr. Fixin. See if he can solve that problem for us. Right, let's start with the turquoise one. I've got some offcuts here that I've used before, but there's still plenty, as you can see, plenty of colour on them. So I'll use them again. So where is our size? It's all up in the top portion. So you just stick it down and it sticks onto where the size is, and then you just pull it off, and lo and behold, it's like magic, just sticks to where we've had the, I hope you can see that. It's really, really very, very sparkly, and I think there might just be a little bit there that I've missed. This is the problem when you come to using something again and again, you get portions of it that you've missed. But that's all done now, that's fine. So that's the turquoise. What else did I say? This. Oh yeah, this was going on here. This hasn't really been used, so it should be fine. So I'm just going to put it over the whole thing, and it'll, you know, you're not going to waste it because it'll only stick where the size is. So press it down firmly onto the size, and then pull it off like an elastoplast, like that. There we go. Look at that. That's just so nice. It really just, it's kind of over the top, but you know, there is no such thing when you're talking about boho and Indian and what have you. So I'm going to use gold on these. It might work, it might not work. I really don't know. I'll try one to start with. Thanks for opening that, Mr. That's great. So this too looks like it's just at the top. Put it down, press over where you think the size is. Oh, no, that's great. That's lovely. It's very gold and it really stands out and it's gorgeous. Lovely. And this one, I think we went to town a bit with this, and it's got stuff down the bottom and up the top, so just same again. It's so much easier, or cleaner should I say, than using gold leaf, or you know, I've got leaf in all sorts of colours. Obviously it's not proper gold, you know, but it's such a messy procedure, whereas this, that's it, it's done. Oh, they are lovely, they look gorgeous. I'm so pleased with them. There we are. That's our 4 tags and journal cards done from half of it. And when I show you what it looked like a little while ago, that was it. And this is it now. It's quite incredible, isn't it? Just a bit of decoration. Okay, so we have 8 beautiful tags and journaling cards. I just need to pop a hole in the top of these ones. I'll just do it by side. This is actually a lanyard hole punch. It's much easier I'll show it to you in a moment. So it's much easier for threading ribbon, lace or whatever through this hole, which is oval, as you can see, rather than trying to squash lace through a tiny little circle. So with these ones that I'd already completed, you can see that I have actually also added some liquid pearls. I like that effect. It's, you know, nothing is too much. Still working on that. And with that in mind, let me just put these away. I have gone on to embellish further a previous set of tags. And what I've done is I've sewed a little pocket on the front. I hope you can see that. And I've sewn around 3 sides, then put some sequins in, which move around, and then sewn the top up. That one I've just done square on the bottom. This one is a journaling card, so it's quite big. So the sequins move around. So it's kind of like a snow globe, but it's sequins that are moving. This one, what I've done with each of these is stuck them onto coffee stained paper and cut them out, and I will go around each of them like this one with a zigzag. I actually did that one before I stuck it on, so it needs doing again really, but I probably won't. It's all right like that. But these ones I definitely will go around with a zigzag stitch, and all the others once I've backed them and decided whether I'm putting these little pockets in or not. I do quite like them. They add a touch of fun to the whole thing. And this one's ready. It just needs chopping out from the paper. These need the holes put in. And you know, we've got a lovely stash of these journaling cards, tags, ready to go whenever we need them. So there we are. The 3 baseboards that I used are the one that you saw me make in this video, this one, which is really, really nice. Came out well. This one, and this one. So you see, they're all quite different, really. Actually, that one and that one have ended up pretty similarly, but this one's much more pinky reddy, which is good. You don't want them all the same colour, but you can do yours whatever colour you want, using whatever papers you want, ending up with whatever shapes you want. I've kept these like this because I know that there will be portions of my book that I want to put side pockets in, long pockets along the bottom, and I don't want to cut them out quite yet because I'm not sure what I'm doing with them. So I'll leave them until I'm actually ready to use them, and then I'll decorate them from that point onwards. But let's just have another look through these just before we go, so you can see what we've achieved. I mean, they're beautiful colours, and they're so, oh, they're lovely. I love them. So now you know how to make them. They're not difficult. They may be a little time consuming because there's quite a bit of waiting in between, waiting for things to dry, and it's a bit messy because you've got to get all your papers out and whatever, but I think the finished result is really lovely. If we can just zoom in on those and have a little look. If you enjoyed this and you'd like to see more or other things that I'm up to, then please subscribe to my channel, Miss Paint A Lot. I do regular videos on junk journaling, not at a specific time, they just go regularly, and it would be nice to have your company along the way. If you want to follow me on Facebook, I am Miss Paint A Lot there as well, and you can follow along my page. It would be great though if you subscribed and hit that bell, and then every time I upload something you'll get to see it. Hope you enjoyed this. I certainly enjoyed making them. I really love the finished results. So I will be continuing making my boho journal, and I hope that you can come along with me on the journey. Thanks very much. Bye.